Good morning, all. Today, I, CA Bhavi Thakkar, on behalf of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee ICAI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast from Colleagues to Cohesion, Essential Team Management Skills for Chartered Accountants. In today's dynamic financial and regulatory environment, chartered accountants are expected to do far more than just analyzing the numbers. They must lead people, drive collaborations, and build high performing teams. As firms grow and assignment increasingly becomes complex, we should learn some ability to transform a group of colleagues into cohesive. We should motivate them and to bring everyone together, leading with the emotional intelligence, some management competencies. And for this particular enrichment today, the Professional Enrichment Committee has brought us before a very different and interesting topic on the colleagues and cohesion, some essential management skills. We have a learned speaker today with us, CS Dipti Shofi ma'am, who is having a vast experience of about over 10 years in practicing her profession. She has done her articleship from Messrs. Manohar Chaudhary and Associates. She is having her own firm as Dipti P and Associates. She is from Chennai. She is a graduate from University of Madras, and she is leading into various of practical aspects like internal audits, doing the process audits and IFC reviews of so many listed companies. Ma'am is very experienced in handling the specialized assignments of income leakage reviews, proprietary audits, formulation of standard operating practices like SOPs, and so many more things. In 2022, she established her own practice, bringing together a decade of cumulative professional experience across audits, taxation, compliance, and advisory. She is also a certified independent director with practical exposure ranging from domestic engagements to overseas internal audits. Today, we are honored to have Ma'am Yu over here on a very interesting topic of from colleagues to cohesion, essential team management skills for chartered accountants. Without wasting much of our time, our all audience is very much eager to hear you on this topic. Please share your valuable experience on this and enlighten us. Welcome, ma'am, for today's webcast.
Thank you, CA Bhavi Thakkar. Thank you for this wonderful introduction. I hope I do some justice and share my experiences through this.
Sure, ma'am.
Through this, what do you say? A live PPT.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for joining this seminar. So this topic, team management, okay, we come across this every day, but then we don't notice that it is a very, very key part of it. We see that everything which we do is a team exercise. There are so many things which we don't do alone. We think that we do this work alone, but then it is a team work. What we do is the output for another member of the team. So in CA offices, typically what we do many activities, and there's a huge involvement of many members in the team altogether. So it is not like only an individual is doing some kind of work. It is a team exercise. So the topic today, though we every day, see this, but we do not, talk about it, or there is no training specifically provided for this, which is team management. So our topic today is in detail. We're going to discuss about team management in chartered accountants. So I will run through slide by slide. We will discuss on various areas, specifically how communication is one of the main important steps for chartered accountants, and then how we, work together as a team. And then the next phase is unique members in a team. So how can be in different conflicting situations, we are able to handle that. I will also share a lot of live examples how team building and maintaining unity among the team will help us help even the audit in a larger scale. So let's go into the first topic. So why teamwork matters in the CA profession. So as we already know, audit is a very collaborative thing. It is a very collaborative design. Audit engagements require coordinated efforts. So it is one person, for example, one person does vouching, the next person does into they look into documentation, the manager, he communicates, the partner, he reviews the work, and then there's one person who coordinates with the management, basically the client. And then there are the junior level staff who do the groundwork. So if even one person lacks in their roles, specifically speaking, then the entire audit or the entire teamwork will go into it'll get stuck. So every person's every person's role in the entire teamwork is very much important. So that is why audit in the audit team is it is called like a collaborative design. And whenever we are assigned, we are looking into the complex governances. So we see each specialized role will make a very important thing in the team. So one person will be specialized in one particular area. The other member in the same team will be specialized in another area. Only if all of them work together, they will be able to attain the goal. Okay. So how do we that there is an engagement success? So success depends on coordination. There should be continuous review, and each team member should communicate clearly with each. Finally, it comes boils down to documentation. So next, I will teach. I will take you through. So how do we build cohesion? So there is mutual communication. So these four phases go like this. First, you should enable trust. So how do we enable trust? So if someone has clarity and then they have competence, they will they have to have the technical competence, and they will be able to guide the team members that this is how it has to be done. So when there is a technical competence, the people who are listening to you will follow. And when you communicate it consistently to every member in the team, then and you just demonstrate that this is how it has to be done, then there will be trust. And integrity, it is not just a talking term. That's our ground rule. We have to have integrity, and then follows trust. The next phase, clearly defining your roles. So when you have a team, even a minimum of two members also so each member of a team should clearly know what is their unique responsibility, and they will know what is their expectation. Only then they will be able to not redo the work. So if two people are thinking in their mind that this is my task for the day, and both of them keep repeating that task, there'll be a lot of time waste. Whereas when the roles are clearly defined, like I will take care of vouching, I will take care of documentation, I will take care of this part of the audit. When the roles are clearly defined, then the objective will be met, and equal contribution comes from each member. So that is phase 2. Phase 3 is fostering collaboration. So when all of the team members keep doing different tasks, they contribute to the main goal, the final task. And each one have will be a part of the big workflow, and each one's knowledge will get shared with each other. And when knowledge sharing happens, there'll be better collaboration. Finally, how do we drive the performance? So when there are tasks given to the team members, you don't stop there. You keep having in and around feedbacks, whether they've achieved the task, can there be a process improvement. And whenever surpasses their limits and then does the task beautifully. You know, recognize their achievements. You tell them, yes, this is done well, it can be done better. So motivating a team member when a task is completed exemplarily, then that will drive performance. They would want to perform better, they want to do more. So it will, in turn, it will, you know, slowly gain momentum, and even during challenging periods they will want to outperform themselves. So these four phases will help us build cohesion within the team members. I usually tell them, uh, you know, when you communicate to people, you should communicate very clearly. You should be very, when you communicate, you should communicate it frequently, and you should be very clear in what you communicate, and you communicate regularly. So, three things: you communicate very clearly, you communicate regularly, and you are very clear in what you communicate. Like, we, in a team, right, there are frequent communications, and always team does not perform well because of lack of communication. I've seen in my experience, even exemplary team members individually, they are very very talented, but then when they're put together, they poorly perform. Whereas when there are team members who's above average in their performance, but then they have very good communication, they help out each other, and then the results are mind blowing. So communication is always the backbone of any audit team. Now, how do you make this communication stronger? So, for even a human being, the backbone is this is what it supports you to stand. So, likewise, the backbone for any audit team or any audit teamwork to work is communication. How do you make this communication strong? So the first thing is, you have, you know, every morning you can have a very quick small meeting with your audit team to understand where does the team stand, what are the tasks that was completed, what are the issues which were identified. You would have heard, you know, or you would have even seen in many companies, the sales team or the marketing team will have a small quick meeting, 5 to 10 minute meeting every morning with the management. So they will understand, okay, these are the goals, and then these are the limitations, and these were the tasks or the goals which were got completed. So in this exercise, what happens is, everybody in the team, the top most level person and the lowest junior most staff, are on the same page. They know towards which direction, towards the goal, right, towards which direction we are leading. So daily quick meetings will help in, you know, the audit team to perform better. Another, so how, you know, it's not a face to face, you know, communication. Sometimes the team members might be scattered, they might not be, you know, sitting inside the same room facing each other every day, which might not be practically possible. So in those cases also, even a small email, or using an audit software, or in-house, uh, now everybody uses WhatsApp. So even a simple WhatsApp group will ensure that there is communication within the team members. So which will in result ensure that the information is flowing from one person to the other. So everybody knows where the other person is. And structured review notes. So imagine one member in the team meets with a client and gets some inputs. So he notes it down and then he puts it on the billboard or their WhatsApp group, for example, and then that gets read by everybody. So the result is, those inputs will be used for the audit which happens. So the final audit deliverables are better. So nothing gets missed. The last thing is escalation without fear. So what does this mean? We, even when we were doing articleship, we'll always fear, okay, I've met with some instance with which is a problem. Should I tell my senior? Will it be a problem? Will I get shouted for it? So there should be an escalation line without fear. So the junior most, if he comes across any problem, he should not fear to address it or bring it to the top member. And the top member should bring it to the partner. uh, it should not be that if it's a small problem or not, whatever be the case, it has to be addressed. So if this psychology is set up, then every member in the team will promptly bring any concerns which come during the audit. So this is a classic. Hello, hello. Am I audible now? Okay. Yes. So this is one of the examples how communication and escalating it on time actually caused a problem. So in this scenario, okay, a real life scenario, bank audit was happening. And one of the juniors, when he was independently verifying the DP and stock statements, found an issue. He wanted to escalate it to the seniors. But the seniors were too caught up in their review meetings with the manager, he failed to give time to the junior. So, in result, what happened is when the final reports were prepared, the NPA classification criteria and numbers did not meet. So, what is the issue that you are seeing here? If at all the juniors and the seniors had a quick 5 to 10 minute meeting every day. I know during bank audit season, during the bank audit, it's very peak and very tiresome, and there hardly be any time to spend. But if that 5-10 minutes were given, this error could have been spotted and this issue could have been sorted out before it went to the last stage. So what happened because of that? They had to sit for another 12 to 14 hours to redo the entire exercise to ensure all the NPA classifications were sitting in the right heads. So, so there was low quality of work and work got redone. So this is a very classic example of how communication and escalation, if done and sorted out in the first instance, can save a lot of rework and even the quality of work will be better. So we speaking about communication. We tell that okay, speak every day, communicate every day. Okay, so what? How can we do that? Okay, so this will give you an insight. There are so many management tools which help you in this, collaboration for an audit team, like for an audit team to work together. Okay, there are ICAI audit tools which streamline workflows and that they ensure the compliance with professional standards. There are various communication platforms. Like in my working days, we in our office we use something called Slack. So it's basically like a messenger, but then the team, as in the office people, will be connected and they will be sharing their inputs, their audit. What is the task that's been completed for one particular audit, and the manager will also be in the group so they he can follow up on what's done, what has to be done going forward. So these communication platforms can be used such that the audit team's bonding is better and then their goal is also achieved without any hindrance. So Teams, Slack, email enabled real time updation, everything can be used as a collaboration tool for every audit team. Workflow dashboards. This is typically a flow of tasks which is already set, and each team member can be done by so and so. So in this, there'll be clarity of work, and if something, if imagine one member has completed their task well ahead of their time, and they help out with a difficult task. So workflow dashboard helps in understanding where each member in the team is placed in the audit. Checklist. Shared checklist is a plain, simple checklist which we have, like audit checklist. It can be, It can be used in various ways. For example, in our own office, when we are doing GST filing, so if three-member team is doing GST filing, they have an Excel which notes down every client, and then it maps the date and the time, date and the acknowledgement number filing is done. It can be accessed by all the members of the team. So in this checklist, it's achieved is, so if one client work is filed or one return is filed, the next person who is viewing it knows that this is completed. So they can take care of the next client's work. So in this way, this team effort doesn't get duplicated. At the same time, everybody know where the task is, whether it is completed, it has to be done, it has to be escalated. So shared checklists help. And one more thing, when you have a checklist, you have to keep it standard. All the checklists the same. Only then a gap in the team. Like imagine one person is unable to, come for some health reasons or anything like that. The standardized template will be easy for the new member to follow. And even if the person who has left is not able to hand over to the other of the team, since it is a standardized template, they know they are able to read it. So this will not hinder the team from performing. Okay. So we are talking about performance and how the team works together and all that. Let's keep some metrics of how we can measure it. So any performance, we need a measuring tool. Okay, but then we first for measure, we have to set some ground rules. We can measure whether it is achieved. Not see where the team is going. What are they doing? So how to measure performance? So the for the start, you have to set very smart, small, achievable goals. The goals should be very specific. It shouldn't be very vague, like do this, do that. It should be very specific, like you have to do vouching for this particular period for this client. It has to be that specific, and it should be measurable. For example, you have to measure it with time. If it is very voluminous, then and it is very complicated, then extra time should be given. If though it is voluminous, but then it is very plain and simple and it is of repetitive nature, then the time should be reduced. So the goal which is given should be measurable, and only then we can see whether they have performed well. Imagine a task can be done in 1 hour's time, completing it in 45 minutes, or whether they are taking 1.5 hours for the same task. So your goal should be measurable. Only then a performance can be decided. Next, the goal should be relevant. You can't ask a team member to do a task which is not even relevant for the audit. It will waste the time and it will waste the resource. So, in a team, the goals should be relevant. And the last thing is it should be time bound. So any audit for that matter, we have a plan and it has to be done in certain time frame. We cannot let it last for as its own sweet time. So there is a time involved in it. So even the goals should be such that it can be achieved within that time frame. Only then everybody's independent tasks can help in achieving the goal, and each individual's contribution will help for the team's objective. That is one of it. The next thing is feedback. So you are assigned, so every member in the team is getting assigned goals. Now these are the metrics, like we already, they should be measurable, they should be achievable, they should be relevant to what audit they're currently doing, and it should be time bound as well. So the everything is done. Now we need to get a feedback. Only then we will see that whether the goals which are set are actually How do we get the feedback? We conduct day-to-day review meetings where all the team members sit together, and then they tell, okay, this task was assigned to me and it was supposed to be done by such and such time, but when I did it practically, this came up. So in audits, even in our office also, an experienced team member will assign a task telling that it will take you only 1 hour, complete it and get back. But then when you're setting a goal or a task to a team member, we should always keep in mind what is their capability. So if that task can be done only by 2 hours because of the experience of that team, then it will take 2 hours. So your goals should be set that way. So all this will come up only when there is feedback and reviews happening every now and then. Imagine you give a task, you give a timeline for it, and then you just sleep on it. If there are no frequent reviews or feedbacks, you will think the task, ground level person will be struggling to do the task. They will in turn will not raise the issue that, I have some understanding flaws and there's some practical difficulties, so I'm not able to complete the task in the time frame provided. So this will hinder the entire process. Instead, if and when they come after the, the time allotted for them to complete the task, which is for example 3 days, they come back after 3 days, and then you sit with them and understand what is the issue. 3 days would have already been gone. So instead, if every day there is a small check-in, what's happening, is there anything which has to be escalated, should we interfere? If such an exercise happens, a feedback exercise, continuous feedback exercise, then the goal will be achieved. Let me share a example which I myself faced. So we were into IFC testing in a listed company. So we went as a three-member team. The plan was already laid out. The management was informed, and the department heads were told that such and such members will come at such and such time frames to verify tasks and take pick out samples. So we went to the departments and we sat with those respective employees to take data. But then when we went there, the employees were not giving us time. They were hellbound, telling that no, I have work for, I have my task for the day, so I will not be able to give time. You come back later. Our complete the audit within a stipulated. What we did is, first level we communicated to the department heads. We have some practical hindrances because time, but that also did not. One day passed, and then we were sitting with a review meeting with our partner. We escalated the issue that there was a practical audit. He in turn escalated it to the top management of the client. Later on, they had, the issue, since the issue was escalated, it was seen by the management, and then the data had come to us. So if we did not escalate it on time, imagine trying, and then we ourselves approaching the employees, asking them day in and day out, give me data, please give me data. It wouldn't have solved the purpose at all. Instead, timely escalation and communication made it could proceed further. So metrics like how meters, whether the team has actually succeeded or not. So we should measure that. So how does that work? Measuring team success, so I have put it in three buckets. Okay, uh, let me say three key metrics. So one is technical excellence. So technical excellence, how do we measure the technical excellence? So the main things will be accuracy, compliance, adopting new techniques, and then improving processes. So accuracy. When a task is given, example, they are vouching out of 10 samples. Okay, how accurate were they in the vouching exercise, whether they got all the 10 were correctly verified and then all the issues were raised, or one was missed and then it was never found and later on that issue came up at the later phases of audit. So this is to measure the accuracy. Next, from the compliance perspective, so compliance, how sound the team member is in compliances, okay, whether they already know the law, and then whether that law, whether using the knowledge, in compliances, they have done their audit, that gets tested. The last next thing is how do they adopt to new technologies. So now everything is technology. Members' performance also, their technical excellence goes hand in hand with, if they use technology, the task will be more accurate and their speed will also improve. And finally, how do they improve the bare process itself, the audit process itself? So technical excellence will help us, maintain high standards of accuracy and compliance while fostering their innovation in the accounting process. So how do we, auditors, help the, or how do help for continuous professional, what do you say, small seminars. Like in my articleship days, every Saturday they had a seminar, 2 hour seminar, which was presented by each article on various topics. They can, choose their own topics, and then it will be circulated that so and so is going to take a seminar on this topic, and everybody presents on a topic. So in this there's professional development, and it happens frequently. So such practices can be followed. Next is technology adoption. We know this is the age of AI, and we cannot, go without it. Even vouching, in my days, we were having physical vouchers, physical bills where we had to keep doing the audit tick. But then now everything is, on Google Drives and shared spaces, and everything is in soft copy. There's no paper. I hardly see paper. Even financial statements get signed, not physically, but in, e-paper, in the computer. So technology adoption, that in turn gives us process improvements. So this is the first bucket. The next thing is team well-being. Nowadays, even those small tasks, when experienced staff, newly joined juniors, they have to help each other of how to, manage the stress, how to deal with their emotions when they are, given a lot of work which they think they are not able to handle. So they have to, ex- uh, come up to a team member or to a senior, tell that, this is little too much for people to handle. Every team member supports them mentally, it will help for the well-being of the team. So, in a team, the work should be distributed equally, that not one person is over dumped with work and uh, the other person is very leisure. The work should be equally distributed. Atmosphere, what will happen is the work will be sustainable and each one will be able to support each other, and there will be professional excellence and personal well-being. Every also equally working and then others are getting the good name. It shouldn't be that way. So team well-being is a very, very important criteria for the team to succeed. Work-life balance initiatives. So work-life balance initiatives is very, very in our field more so, because we know we always run behind meeting deadlines. Even if the client gives us information in the very last minute also, we never deny the work. We tell them, okay, we will get it done. But whether we are checking, whether the lowest team member is having the time and the bandwidth to complete it, how is their health, whether it is practically possible, all that we have to keep in mind. So, when there is a team, whenever tasks are distributed, okay, it has to, the team members should, a word should be asked to the team members: is this okay? Are you able to handle this much work? Can, a little more work be added to your plate? So in that way, the team will be, they will raise a concern: no, this is too much for me to handle, so I'm in this way there will be a balance of both ways. uh, we know in our peak season there's always extra work. We work extra hours, but then we can always work it out. Like for example, in my past office, what we used to do is during peak seasons we would come a little early. So imagine the office time is 9:30 or 10, we'll come at 8 o'clock. So those 2 hours will be in very undisturbed and very peaceful hours. So the work, we will, we will come early, leave early. So what will happen is there'll be more effective undisturbed hours which is put in, so the output also will be good. So in this way, when the team works out a plan which works both ways, the work gets done, and it is not too pressing on the health as well. So this will also in turn lead to the success of the team. Next is the mental health and wellness programs. So when you build a team, you should inculcate the core thing that health is very, very important. Health is wealth. That's what everybody says. So you see junior staff, they get over enthusiastic. They keep doing tasks day in and day out. They skip their lunch. They have their lunch very late, or they rush to office. They even skip their breakfast. We have to conduct wellness programs and tell them that work will come and go, it will always be there, but health comes first. So as CA professions, whenever we build a team and we are also a part of the team, we should inculcate this. So always health comes first, and later on everything will follow. Even in my office, I strictly tell them 1 to 2 is your lunch break. Even if you sit 15-20 minutes and eat your lunch peacefully, take that extra 15 minutes to relax yourself. And even if there is a client walking in, everybody knows that this is the lunch time. So you just have to tell them, please wait for some time, this is our lunch break, we will get back to you, and the other person will understand. I see in a lot of offices, clients purposefully walk in during lunchtime, and then they will come and speak to you. And I even see the lower level junior staff skipping, like literally they close their lunch boxes and then they go to address the client's issue. That should not be inculcated. That culture should be stopped. So as CA professionals, I would urge you to take that step to, in your offices, in your workspaces, whenever you see such incidences, that you tell, no, this is this is our break time, so we have to take a break, we'll get back to you, please wait. So mental health and is very, very important for the team to succeed. So this is from our side. Now the other side of the coin. So how is the client impacted by the success of the team? How do we identify that the team's ta- team has succeeded? So this in we can always ask for the client's review. So when you check with the client, is the client satisfied? Usually when a team completes an audit, the client comes up and tells that this was a very wonderful team, or they completed everything on time. They were very friendly in their in their communication, and when they were dealing with staff, and even when they were collecting information, they ensure that it is kept confidential. So all this, which comes from the client, all these testimonials which you get from your client, tells that yes, this team has succeeded in their work. So, and the client's advice also matters. You will hear some, after an audit is over, the client will tell that this one team member is very, very short tempered. So even though the entire team was in the same page, because of that one team member's short temper, it degraded the attitude of the entire team. So all this helps in the future team planning, has to be taken into consideration. Their strategic advice and their contributions from the client side also plays a very important role in the success of the team. In result, there will be a very long-term client relationship retention. So this is about how the team's success is maintained. Okay. So peak season challenges. I will quickly run through now. We face this every July season, every September season. The entire office is flying with papers, deadlines, new clients coming, old clients giving information at the last minute. So how does a peak season, how do we deal with this peak season? So in this to deal with this peak season challenges, I've put it into three buckets. So the first thing is the pre-season planning. We know before starting every audit, we give a detailed audit plan. We assign the task, and that's how we run it through the management, and then we discuss it with the client, and then we get ahead and start the work. So please pre-season planning. That is the first thing to deal with the peak season challenge. What do we do in that? So first we have to conduct a capacity planning. Capacity planning means I have, for example, July season. Okay, I have 20 tax filings. I have two staff. Okay, out of that 20 tax filings, there will be only one or two very complicated cases, but the remaining are very simple and straightforward. So we plan in such a way that those very complicated we remove. The cases which are very simple and straightforward, we distribute it to the two staff based on their capabilities. So that is capacity planning. And set realistic expectations. So each task, even though we know that it will take this time, or that work, that filing will take some time, we can't expect the team member to finish it in half an hour and give it back. We should be very realistic in what we expect from them. So the planning should have timelines which are very practical and very realistic and not superficial. We can't give them a whole load of work and tell them it has to be done come what may. That is not the planning which we are talking about. The next is to prepare for contingencies. Contingencies is, imagine if one team member falls sick and they are not able to come to office for an extended period, which is a contingency which might happen. So we have to be, our planning, we should be prepared. If something like that happens, then what do we do? And our planning should be in such a way that whatever uh, so this planning for the team should be in such a way that every team member knows what is going to happen. So if one person is not available, the remaining members in the team will be able to take will be able to lead the plan forward. Okay. And so this is our pre-planning stage. So this is how We, when we tell that we have to plan ahead, we have to set things, and then we can go ahead. This is the pre-planning phase. Okay. And then you should assign the tasks in advance. So in this planning phase, we have to go to the minuscule level, right from the major. What is our big motive? The big motive is to come, for example, we have to complete tax audit for this client. What is the last thing? The last step is documentation. So our planning should be that we plan it for such a way that when will this documentation happen, to whom is this task assigned. So our pre-season plan should be mapped in such a way that even the lowest activity is addressed. Okay. Only then we can assign the task to each member. We can even keep some spare time, that if something does not go, we always we will plan something, but never anything goes according to plan. There are so many contingencies which come during the audit, but nevertheless, the plan has to be executed, and we have to try our level best to ensure that it is complete. So that is our job, end of the day. So we have to keep, give time, that plan it in such a way that nothing gets missed out. Uh, so why do we spend every audit? Why do we spend a lot of time on planning? Because when we go ahead without a plan, we don't even have a map. It's in hand. Without a map, we will never reach our destination. Correct. So a plan is very ideal and very important in any team activity. Okay. And if what happens if there is no plan and we go ahead, everybody will keep doing the same task. Okay. And everybody will always pick the easy one first. So when we plan it out, we assign task. We tell them, you do this part, you do that part. And if someone says, no, I will not be able to, then we can, in the planning phase itself, swap tasks. Imagine if a planning is not done and everybody picks and chooses what they want to do. At the end, there'll be some areas which are not touched by anybody. However, if there is a planning which is put in place, all the areas get covered, and nothing gets missed out. Next phase is stress management. Like we already saw in the previous slide, we were discussing, right, that team members are very prone to stress. Even small tasks are very stressful for them these days. So stress management, this is a very common challenge which we all face during the peak season. So how do we deal with this? Like I already spoke, that we can address this issue by things like, we support the team, we give our inputs, we give our experiences to the team, telling that be very meticulous. If you are given 10 tasks, first jot down the tasks, and then give it your own ranking, like this can be done easily, this is already readily available. So in that manner, when your tasks are, put it in points, it will give you a clearer picture of what you want to do. In that way, your mind will be relaxed. Okay, these are the tasks which I have to do, and this is the way I'm going to approach. So you can support the team. Next is, you can give them a very flexible schedule. You can tell them that this is the time frame in which the task has to be completed. It is up to you how you want to place it, like which client or which work has to be done first. So in this way, the team will also have the liberty to pick and choose the work which they want in their own order, as long as the end result is all the tasks are completed within the stipulated timeline. So this way, the stress can be managed. Next is, like we already discussed, you know, give them wellness, conduct wellness groups. You can initiate in your own office, whether you can have a quick one to one with your team members, asking them, are they in good health? Are they good getting good enough sleep? Uh, are they traumatized by the work? Stress, all that. So this, trust me, even though it is nowhere connected to the work, this one-on-one in checking on their health will make wonders in their performance, and in turn, it will show in their results, which is their audit work. So the that 2-3 minutes checking on their health will be a big step. Next is small gestures. For example, in my in the offices which I had worked during peak seasons, when we extend hours, they usually get us some snacks, so that it energizes, it fills our stomach and gives some energy to extend and sit late hours. It's nobody asks for it, but then it was still done, and this small gesture helped us. Okay, they are taking care of us, so in turn we will give better performances. So such things will help the stress to be managed. And appreciation, everybody does something for some appreciation, for some acknowledgement. So big or small, everybody in the team, if something is achieved or something is done, which, imagine, they were not good at documentation, it was never their skill, but then they came over it, and then they were able to outperform themselves. That achievement should be acknowledged. They should be appreciated for it. And uh, in my article, I will give you a just out of the topic. In my articleship days, we were a team of 5 girls who were into the firm's audit. So every audit season, after the audit is over, after the books are completed, uh, we were handling several branches, and we were collating information for that firm, and then finally the results will be the audit will be completed. Once the audit gets completed, the partner would draft a very extensive, beautiful email appreciating every member. He will mention every member's name in the email, and he will address he will appreciate each one's effort and their team contribution, and he will send it across to every partner, every article, every manager in the entire organization. So that email will be sent across telling that this team has given, and they've extended their uh, exemplary performance, and they have ensured that the audit is completed and everybody is fully satisfied. That acknowledgement always lightens the heart, and it motivates every team member to give better, do better. uh, so motivation will help the stress to reduce, and it will also help during the peak season to overcome their challenges. The last phase, so we've had the planning, we have the roadmap, and then when executing there are a lot of stress, we have mitigated the stress, and then the audit gets completed. Okay, so the last phase is post season recovery. Okay, so what is this post season recovery? We did the work, the audit is over, which is conducted by a group of team members, but then we want to know, we have to have some feedback out of it, whether the planning was done right. Is there any do we have to revisit our plan so that the next audit will be seamless? So this is the post season recovery. So always the teams should conduct a debrief session to see that okay, I we set up these goals and these tasks, but then this person was was able to better perform uh, these tasks, and C was not performing that well. Instead, if we had interchanged their roles, the results would have been far more better. So this debrief session will help us in that front. Next is, like we already discussed, once the audit is over, we should always celebrate achievements, tell about their achievements to the other team members, to the organization, so they feel that their work also meant something. That recognition will help. And then implement whatever flaws were there during the audit, whatever hiccups were there. They have to ponder on it and discuss about how it can be mitigated in the future audits. So this learning will be very good in order to plan for the next peak season. So this learning from your mistakes, simply said, learning from your mistakes. So some mistake happened and then you learned from it. That took up some time. So when we plan for the next peak season, we ensure that that particular mistake does not get repeated. So for every future peak season challenge, we will always already be prepared for it. Okay. So in this post recovery stage, there is a lot of improvement also which can be put into place. For example, uh, the first time when we get a new audit, we will have certain templates, we will have a certain way of gathering information and certain tasks which are done. As and when we do the work, we get better inputs and we modify the tasks. So with that learning, the next time when the next year when the same audit is done, the team, the first team already set some ground basic rules, like this had to be done, these are the checklists, these are the templates. It will help with the second team to take it up, and then they can improvise on it. So every person's contribution should be improved in the next phase. So this will help the team's bond also to become better. Next aspect which I wanted to discuss is, uh, no person's role in the team is inferior compared to the other. In fact, everybody's input is very much important to the entire team's success. Okay. For a very live example also. So while doing vouching, there was uh, a bill which looked fake. Okay. And the amount also was very big. The ground level staff took it up to the client, and they were like, this is happening, I think this is fake. So the client in turn told, no, this is not a big issue, it is insignificant compared to the volume of this company, so you can ignore. uh, the junior staff, when there's a review meeting happened, escalated it to the manager. The manager saw it, and then he wanted to he said he will address the issue and he will take it to the partner level. But then somehow he was also thinking that this junior staff wouldn't have done his job properly, he would have just overlooked something, it's not a very big issue, and he dropped the issue. Later on, when the entire audit was over, this issue cropped up, and then it was a very major issue, which in result ended up the audit report itself being changed. So, digging back to the issue, like wrong and being mitigated, if at all, the manager, decided, okay, whether it is true or not true, it has to be escalated and then it has to be revalidated, because some issue has been raised. It might be serious. If he had taken that effort and then discussed with the partner, this wouldn't have happened. So every team member's contribution should be acknowledged. So it should not be like, okay, it should come to the knowledge of everybody, all the members in the team. Only then the seriousness of that issue will come to light. If some member is bringing something and you decide, no, it is not important, and if you suppress it then and there, then it might cause a problem in the long run. So paying attention to every team member and every team member's contribution is important. It should be kept in mind. Next is conflict resolution in accounting teams. So even when two people, work together on the same assignment, there'll be difference of opinion, there'll be conflict with each other. So it's very much not common. So imagine there are several members in a team and unique individuals having different personalities. Obviously there will be a conflict on various fronts: personal conflict, hierarchy conflict, and then their understanding conflict. So there are various conflicts which we have to address in our team work. Let's get into each thing, and we will see how we can avoid or resolve this conflict. The first type of we can address is technical disagreement. So, in a team, one person will be doing a task and they might be well versed in that particular thing. For example, GST. So, one member will be having extensive knowledge in GST. So, he would know that has to be done this way. And the other team member might have a fair knowledge, not in depth knowledge as the other person, but he might also give his inputs. Okay, this though there might be clashes, it doesn't mean that the one person's opinion or their version should be denied, because he might see it in a different perspective. So these conflicts can be resolved when the partner or the senior member in the team steps in and then tries to resolve the issue. Like, if they setting up precedents. So if similar issues have erupted in the past, they decide that if there is a conflict in these two issues, then this is what as a team we will always decide. So if we already set up, establish a clear protocol, all these technical disagreements will come into a stop. Simple way of which method of accounting depreciation, whether it's a WDV method or a written down value method. One member might say no, this is the best practice, the other might say no, this might be the best practice. But if we already set a protocol, or we set some ground rules that if this is a topic of conflict, then we will always decide on this. So in that way, this technical disagreement will get sorted out. And always have a practice of whatever conflicts happen, what is the resolution and what were the decisions made to resolve that issue should be clearly documented. Because only then the future teams, when they address the same conflict, they will not spend time, or a totally different decision will not be taken. Because there must have been some brainstorming activity, and everyone's in-depth contribution would have been taken to check that no, this is the reason, because of these that we have concluded that this should be the conclusion, this should be the wisest decision of them all. So it has to be clearly documented. Okay. Okay, and next is when there is a conflict, like in my example, if there is an a hierarchy, or who should, and then the hierarchy in place, then the conflict will be resolved faster. Not every issue has to be taken to the top level person in the team. For example, if the lowest most member is having an issue or any problem, not necessarily everything has to be taken up to the partner's level. Okay, it can be sorted down in the seniors level or the managers level itself. So we have to create escalation procedures. Okay, and we have to mitigate a lot of time waste in conflicts which are not very big. Okay, and like I already discussed, document the resolution process for future reference. So how did we come to this decision? What are the parameters which were discussed to conclude, okay, this is the decision we will be taking going forward? Okay, that has to be clearly documented. uh, Next is personality conflicts. Like I said, each individual is unique, and each person has a different perspective for a single thing. Okay, so definitely there will be a lot of conflicts. There, the way they see a simple thing differs. So how do we deal with this personality conflict? Very very simple thing. Okay, there is a team which constitutes the young freshers, okay, newly joined, and there are experienced staff. Okay, experienced staff, they work only 8 hours because of their body condition, but then they have experience, so they complete their task. But junior most people have to extend hours to complete the task. So always there will be a conflict. Why does that person come work only for 8 hours and then leaves, whereas we have to sit, night and day to complete it? Why are we, treated differently? These issues erupt, but then we have to address it. We have to explain to them the situation and why it is different. It is not that the lower level staff are treated differently and they are shown any bias or partiality. Personality conflicts is more tricky than technical disagreements. At least technical disagreements we can clear cut say, no, this is how it has to be done. This is how it has to be dealt. You can put down your foot and you can tell. Whereas when there are personality conflicts, it's a very risky and very it has to be handled very subtle. Otherwise, it might turn bad because there are emotions involved. Okay. Next is use a mediation technique to find a common ground. So when two people are arguing over an issue and one person says no, it has to be done this way, this is the right way, and the other person is not willing to accept and is not willing to work with it. So the third person should come and help to find a middle ground and then conclude that there is no point in fighting over this issue, which will not solve any purpose. Okay. Then there's another thing called focus on the shared goals. So when there is a conflict, the main goal should be reiterated. What are we finally trying to achieve? Will this conflict hinder that? Okay. So when we are again refocusing our shared goals and the team objectives, the conflicts, will take a step back. Okay. So in this is how we deal with conflict and how we take steps to resolve it. Okay. Next comes technology integration and how the team adapts to it. Uh, we as we already discussed, AI has come into place, and everything goes hand in hand in AI. And AI has created this fear that it might be replacing us. But the truth, the real fact is, AI and automation are not replacing our profession. They are just reshaping it. So they're giving us, better clarity. Uh, Before, when we were drafting responses to a department, we had to sit hours together, search for references, and then draft it, redraft it. It will go into several iterations, and then it will be reviewed, corrections will be made. Easily a day or two will get spent on it. But with AI stepping into it, it gives us responses in a click of a button. So it saves us that much of time. and it helps us to increase our bandwidth. So tasks can be completed faster. So technology integration in our audit, in our teamwork, it is like an extra assistant in the team who will help us to do repetitive tasks or tasks which can be done easier. It will help us. So technology integration in the team and the team adapting to it will help, make wonders to the team. So, what as leaders we should do to the team? We should guide the team positively. We should tell them that, adopting to technology uh, will actually help them give a better performance, give a better result, and not just you know uh, not just replacing them. It will, refine their work better. For example, if a certain template is being followed, okay, with the help of AI or with help of automation, you can refine it. You can, put more fields into it, so it'll give you a better presentation. So in result, the person who is seeing the report will be, uh, you know will get a better more output out of it. So uh, so we have to guide the team positively, reduce the fear of technology. So why do people fear technology? They fear because they are not able to adapt to it as easily. Younger generations are able to adapt to it freely because it just comes easy to them. But the older generation, there is a slight gap, so they are trying to match and with the speed of technology. So there will be some fear, but then as the team, the fear should be addressed and told that, technology will help to reduce their work burden, and it will ease their work, and the reports or the result out of it will be far better. And we must position the automation as a helper and not like a replacement. So in the team, it will be an additional help to complete the work rather than a replacement. We should focus on the value that keeps getting added to the work. So so this automation leadership we should drive in the team. Continuous learning culture. So how do we continuously learn in a team? So when we assign tasks, we should keep exchanging the tasks, so each member of the team learns holistically. For example, imagine client one is given to a 5-member team, and the work is distributed. Mr. A gets to do vouching, Mr. B gets to do documentation, Mr. C gets to check on the GST compliance. The next time the 5-member team is given client B, then the work should be swapped. So A, who is doing vouching, should now handle documentation. B, who is doing documentation, should handle vouching. In this way, there will be continuous learning in each facet of their audit work. Okay, this continuous learning culture uh, will give you a better performance. And regular training should also be imparted to the team members. So if one person is well versed in GST, then he has to take regular sessions to the other team members. One person is very good in taxes; it comes very easily for them. So that member has to, give weekly training programs or sessions in helping the other team members to catch up with it. So this training is not only in the professional side, but also with the technology, like teaching tally, teaching the shortcuts in tally or any other accounting software, and then teaching excel shortcuts. So all this learning culture which we, impose on the team will help for a better performance of the team. And how do we, inculcate this culture? We ourselves, we should act as live role models for them. When we to our work. We have to, inculcate it in our own work practice, and that will, reflect on our team members. Okay, and this continuous learning culture will be in line with the uh, core accounting uh, compliances and the regulatory compliances. So the bare act will be the same, but how we do it will differ. Okay, and the last is change management. Implement structured change management processes to help teams adapt to new systems. So imagine if all this while we were, example, we were having our server systems, right? We were working, all our data will be there. Slowly, offices are moving into drives, clouds, and everything. So, this change, okay, change process should be structured that they don't get taken aback, and the team members are able to adapt to the new systems while still maintaining their accuracy and efficiency. So whenever the change happens, we have to, train them and explain to them that how this is much better than the old system, and how this will ease their work. So if that is done and explained, then it will, give us better accuracy and efficiency in the task. Okay, next is team dynamics and audit quality. So team dynamics, what does that mean? So when we, put together a team, we should we should take into consideration every person's role, and how talented, what is the expertise that each member will contribute to the team. So that is the main team dynamics concept. So we have to respect each team members diverse skills, like we, discussed, throughout this 1 hour session, that each one will have one specific skill. One person might be very good in Excel, one person will be very good in, the income tax laws, one person will be very good in financial preparation. So each one's diverse skill should be respected, and the work should be, assigned in such a way. So audit quality will largely depend on the team's dynamics. They will add value to the audit at large, and each one will add a unique value to the team as a whole. Next comes trust and their psychological safety. So, trust. How do we, gain the trust of every team member? In my own, one of my colleague, his way of working is he will clearly, whichever file he's working on, he will have the same standard way of naming the file. He will, he will, even if it's a rough document or rough working also, he will label the file. He will, keep it in a particular template. He will save it in a particular fashion, and his work will always be meticulous. So this way there is a trust which gets built, that this person's work can be trusted. So this is how we can create a trust in the team. And psychological safety, you create an environment where other team members are safe. Imagine one team member is very timid, and they are having an issue while performing their, work, but they are not able to speak up. So the other team member can speak up and share the concerns. So psychologically also there will be a support within the team members. uh, One person might be very outspoken, the other person might be little shy and little scared to, bring out issues. In those cases, the member who is outspoken should step up. This will, create a bond between the team members, and they will be able to, perform their tasks very well. Next is support during peak load. So when there is a lot of work, how does the distribution happen? So when one a member in the team gets loaded with a lot of work, they will burn out, and in result what will happen, the accuracy will deteriorate, and they will not be able to give their full. So it is better to distribute the work, and that in that way the error will reduce, and it will also avoid reworking on the same task. And uh, there should be proper systems in place in order to work. So there are softwares, there are tools. So helping, supporting the team with all this, like imagine if it's a tax season, using a tax tool will help the team members to reduce their stress of manually doing a lot of things, which will reduce their workload, which in turn will, well, it will be less stressful for them to do the task. That should be put in place for audit quality. Rotation of responsibilities. So when roles are given, like we already, we were talking, the responsibilities should be swapped. So when one person is doing a task, next time the other person has to do the task. When this rotation of responsibility happens, one thing will, will come. One idea will get achieved. So if some mistake which one member did not come across, the next member who's doing the task will identify it. When one member keeps repetitively doing the same task, some mistakes will get overlooked. So when responsibilities get shifted, okay, then even some issues which were never found or spotted will come into picture, and that can be addressed at the right time. So rotation of responsibility among the team members is very much important. And the even if the person does not have in-depth knowledge also, while doing the new task they will learn in the process. So there is a win-win situation. There'll be a different perspective of the task being done, and there is a learning also involved. So whenever a uh, team is formed, ensure that the team is balanced and each team member gets enough exposure and skill development across different audit areas. There can be specialization, that is depending on each individual's interest, but every team member should get a chance to do all the activities. Only then there will be proper success for the team. Okay. So far we were from the start we spoke about how communication is the backbone for any team to do well, and then we were even speaking about how communication will, if we have a good communication, it will reflect on the audit team's performance. Then we went ahead and we saw what all are the metrics or the parameters to check that this has been done, that has been done, and how can that be able can be used to measure the performance of the team. And we also saw that how do we address the issues during peak season, and what are the challenges that generally teams face during peak season. So these are some common challenges which CA teams face in the day-to-day life, and we will I will go through how we can mitigate each one of them. So last minute client submissions. So when last minute work is submitted, how do we deal with this issue? First of all, if last minute work comes, we should prioritize it, whether it can be done in that limited time frame. and if it is possible. So any work can come in the last minute, but we can decide whether it can be done within the time frame, or extension, it will take time, and we have to escalate it to the client that it might not be possible, it will take this time. And we should not give it to a team, a task like we discussed in the initial phases of our ppt, that tasks should be achievable and realistic. So we cannot give a task which cannot be completed. Okay, so even if it's a rush time, and last minute client comes and gives a submission, just because the client has handed over our work, it does not mean that it has to be done and completed. So rushed timelines cannot be compromised, which in turn will reduce the quality, and it will also increase the stress level of the team members. So the task, they will only have in their mind that the work has to be done, whether it is done right, whether it is still given in the complete quality is a question mark. So last minute client submissions is a common challenge which every ca team faces in their day-to-day work. Next is the blame culture. So why does this blame culture happen? This happens because responsibilities and roles are not defined clearly. When the responsibility and goals are not defined, then obviously one person will pinpoint the other person, telling, no, this was this person's work, hence it is not done. The other person will say, I thought, the other person was supposed to do it, hence I did not do it. So what is the result of this one person blaming the other? The task is not completed and the goal is not achieved. So fear of someone blaming them, uh, and hindering the entire process. Instead of that, we if there is honest clarity, if there is clarity in defining each person's role and their task, and if everybody communicates that this is the task assigned to me, this much is what has done, then this blame culture will not happen. Blaming within the team members is one. Blaming outside, as in the team tells, no, the client did not share information, vice versa. Okay, how can this be? I will share a very live example. Trial balance was shared by the client uh, in email. Later on, the audit team started working on the trial balance. Later on, the client had updated the trial balance, but then they failed to communicate with the audit team that the earlier shared trial balance was the older version, and the trial balance has been updated. The audit team spent days and hours on working on the older version, and the audit was almost on the final stages. Later on, when there was a discussion between the client while they were escalating issues, the client was like, "No, this was not the trial balance which we shared. We have a latest version." So then the blame started, that the audit team telling, "No, we were not, given the latest thing." The the client in turn pinpointing, telling, no, we we shared it with you, or you did not ask us whether this is the final version before you started the work. So there was only blaming happening between the two two teams, but end result, the audit had to be redone. So the quality was very poor, and they had to end up doing the entire audit all over again, which wasted the resources, energy, and the time. So, this is one of the challenges. The next is review pressures and skill gaps. So, junior team members might struggle with the basic Excel itself and basic understanding of what is happening. So, this skill gap can be mitigated if a proper training is given, and whenever any new assignment is coming, training is given that this is how this task has to be done, and this is how this work has to be taken up. So if that training is given, then the gap can be mitigated and their performance also will be better. So, junior team members usually struggle with complex requirements and tight deadlines. So, if the task is, as and when one task is completed, and then the next task is given based on the scheme, the work also will be achieved and uh, pressure also will be reduced. The next challenge is documentation inconsistencies. So, in a team, everybody creates their own way of documentation. So when each member of the team creates a document in their own way, when the other person reads it, they might not understand head or tails of it. Instead, if the entire team has a consistent documentation in place, then anybody can pick up a document and they will be able to read and understand what went ahead, what has been done. So if this documentation inconsistencies are sorted out, uh, that is one of the biggest CA challenges with the CA teams face, because the audit will be over and then documents will be created. A year later, a new fresh team will open those documents and they will try to connect and understand what happened the previous year, so that they can better plan for the current year. Imagine if the each document is totally different. So, and the old team members might not even be in that same office to hand over or to even explain. So in that case, they might not have a heads up at all of what went ahead and what are the key areas that has to be addressed in the current audit. Whereas if the documentation was consistent, like this, if this is done for this area of audit, then this is the documentation, this is how it will be for any client, then any new member will be clearly able to understand what it is. This will help us into better plan uh, the audit plan. The next thing is conflicting interpretations. We had already discussed, right? When there is a conflict, how do we resolve the conflict? So, conflicting interpretation. Different views are there in accounting standards, and this creates delays and disputes. But if we clearly document why we take a particular stand, and what were the conclusions drawn, and what were the parameters which were set to come to that conclusion, then we can mitigate this as well, this conflict as well. So, putting everything into one bucket, uh, if we have structured processes, good communication, and supportive leadership, we can handle all these challenges effectively. So all this while we were talking about the team members, and how the team members role will, each person's role will be uh, impacting the other team members work. Now we will see from the partner's role. How the partner can actually create a team culture, a good team culture. So I'm aware. I mean, I know for sure there are a lot of audiences who are partners, and they are either a partner in a firm, or they are running their own partnership and they are a partner. So this is for them. So how do we be a role model in creating a team culture? So we should inculcate this zero blame policy. We have to create an environment where mistakes can happen, but the rule is the mistake should not be repeated. Okay, the mistake should be a learning opportunity, and we should not be just blaming them, telling them that uh, you have done you have done this, and so it is your mistake. That is not what we want to inculcate. Okay, so as a we have to have in our office atmosphere or workspace, we have to have a zero blame policy. Okay, create an environment where mistakes are accepted, but repetition should be avoided, and we should learn from the mistake and not redo the same mistake. Okay, uh, we can make thousand mistakes, but each mistake should be unique and not repeating the old mistake. The second thing is an open door escalation. So there, the partner should clearly instruct to the lowest level member of the team that any issue, any conflict, or any problem should be escalated, and they should not be scared to do so. And if there is any hindrance or any problem with anything, it has to be addressed, and it has to come to his ear, and there is no issue in bringing it up. They will not be facing any repercussions if they have any concerns. So every team member should be encouraged to raise their concerns without any fear. Okay, that is one important culture which a partner has to inculcate in the team. The next is realistic timelines. So, from the beginning of the session, we've been talking that everything, whatever tasks are assigned, it should be realistic, and the timelines also should be realistic. In our audit field, we have clients coming and telling that this entire audit has to be completed in 5 6 days, whereas the volume will be so huge that even 1 month will not suffice. But yet, we go ahead and accept the assignment. So these things we should avoid. Uh, or if we have to do it in 6 7 days, then we have to ensure more resources are put into the team so that the task will be completed uh, effectively and in the quality it deserves. So setting a realistic timelines in the in the team sets a good culture, oh, which will help us achieve the tasks within the deadlines and balance out the quality also. Next is documentation excellence. So you should lead by example. So the partner should, him or her should have their own, templates or documentation, and that should set as an example for the team members. Okay, and they should maintain accurate records so the team members can follow from their lead. And then comes continuous training. So training is not only in the skill front, but also professionally also. So there, the partner should invest the time in training the team members. Only if the team members are trained and skilled, then the work and the task can be completed. Ineffective team members, uh, effective team members will not be able to give a good output. Okay, so investing in training the team members is very, very important. Okay, the idea behind it is the team stays updated, and they get the confidence to do the task. So more partners must set standards, and they only then they can expect from the team members. If they don't follow, they cannot preach. So finally we come to uh, the whole uh, idea about this entire session, what we were discussing, and what explanations we were giving. So the final goal in any teamwork is to give a high audit quality. So only when there is a coordinated audit team, okay, which is having a uh, collaborative, and uh, they are coordinated together, you can give a high audit quality and give a good reputation, and it will also improve the efficiency. So everything boils down to a coordinated team which gives you high quality, improved reputation, and better efficiency. When the entire team is aligned, you will be able to see the difference in the quality their reputation and efficiency in working. So, and when the team is 100% aligned, the unified vision will be attained, which is one team, one goal, which will give you exceptional results. With this, I conclude my presentation, and I hope it was very insightful and you were able to take something out of this session. I thank you all for this opportunity, uh, and I conclude my session. Yes. Okay. 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 Yes, I'm reading it. Hello? No, no, I didn't see anything. Okay. No, so the question is EPR payroll software is not sufficient for team management. No, this payroll software will enable the payroll process to get completed without errors. So team management, no, it will not. This is just a tool. It will for the team to perform better. So it is just a tool. It is not sufficient for the entire team management, I would say. Okay. Yes, I'm available. Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir, I'm there. Okay. So there is a question you are already posing, or I should start
You already
already?
posted.
Okay. So, ma'am, it was a wonderful experience with you,
Okay. Thank
and
you.
uh, and really, the with the presentation skills that you have shown so many things, it is like when you are visually bringing up something, topics like this, which are really important one for daily lives, when it comes on a visual part, it becomes really important for person to understand. It's just bringing up in the vocal may not have that much of impact until that is being shown under the presentation. So, ma'am, a very nice way you started up with the topic, and really everyone was clear with the subject. There are so many participants who are very good in their chartered accountancy profession, but when it comes to the management skills, at sometimes we lack these skills, and especially when we are into the practical world, this becomes really important for a chartered accountant to be multi-dynamic, to compete with the MBAs. Nowadays, though they may not be so much skillful, but in terms of presentation, they beat us sometimes. So these things are really helpful when we go ahead with all these things. So, ma'am, it was just a very wonderful experience with you, and honor that today you were a part of the wonderful webcast from colleagues to cohesion, essential team management skills required for the chartered accountants, organized by the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee (ICAI). On behalf of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to you, ma'am, who continuously spoke for more than 1.5 hours. And it's not a small thing, speaking up for on a subject continuously with your all expertise and your practical approaches that you have really faced up, and you have shown up with the so many things in an easy and elusive language, which helps the people to understand the topic much better. It was really an enlightening session, ma'am. And beyond, a wide round of applause for all those who have been into the participants, who have been joining for a long time, listening to our regular series of this webcast. We every week day bring up so many new speakers, new topics, and today Dipti ma'am has already given us so much of enlightenment to this topic. So I thank you, ma'am, for a memorable webcast.
Thank
I
you.
extend my thanks to all the technical people and to CA Sambit Mishra ji sir, who has been organizing this series every day with new and interesting topics, with new interesting speakers on board, and making this whole webcast a very memorable and a recognizable event. So I thank each and every person who has been listening to it patiently, who has been the part of this webcast. Thank you all. Signing off. See you, Bhavi Thakkar. See you soon again for the next topic tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay.